it's working. Hello, everybody. Happy, what is today? Mid-Friday. Yay, Mid-Friday. My name is KJ. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, I'm a yoga program manager for both Crystal City and Rockville. And so I'm super excited to be here on Rockville's page. Hello, friends. So we'll just give it another minute for people to join us. They started right at 6, and you know, the internet and the things can be weird. So as you're getting settled in for tonight's 60-minute yin practice, go ahead and make sure you have a blanket and a pillow of any shape, size, color, or form. You just want these things, they might come in handy for our practice this evening, and you might want to grab a book or two if you don't have yoga blocks. You just never know. Yay! So, as I mentioned, my name is KJ. I'm the yoga program manager for Rockville and Crystal City. And tonight's yin practice is going to help us get from being in the head, being in the mind, and into the heart. And this practice is inspired by a very, very dear friend of mine who feels she's just been in her head a lot lately. So hopefully this offering this evening will help that. And I'm sure many of us are also still in our head. In terms of Chinese medicine, every organ has a role and has a function. These are not all physical. They sometimes are psychological and also energetic as well as emotional. And so in this Chinese medicine view, the heart is the queen, the supreme ruler of this inner kingdom. And so it's the heart that actually governs our thoughts, not the mind. In this model. So the mind is just a place that receives and stores the thoughts, but it's the heart that really chooses how we interact and everything. So tonight's practice is going to help us get into that heart space, understand that heart space, and hopefully strengthen the chi of the heart space. So we're going to get started in a comfortable seat this evening. Feel free to sit on a pillow or on a blanket. If you're sitting on the blanket, fold it up neatly so you're just right on the edge. And we want to do this just so that our hips can be lifted up a little bit and we can start to find a nice straight spine. Before you begin to close your eyes, take a moment, turn off your cell phone. I will let you know I am using my cell phone for a timer, so everybody can check and see what I'm doing, just so I can time all of our shapes and whatnot. So as you're ready, either start to find a soft point for your gaze or close the eyes. And let's all take a deep, slow breath in as I figure out the microphone on this, and a deep, slow breath out. Full inhale. And a full exhale. If others can hear me, please let me know. I can't figure out what's going on with the mic right yet. So if you can't hear me, I know one person can't, but try and let me know otherwise if you can hear me. Yeah. I don't know. I've only got one person who says they can't hear me. So until I hear more that we can't hear me, I'm gonna keep going. And then we'll try refreshing the page and see if that does it. You can hear me? Okay. All right. So we've got confirmation that I can be heard, hopefully. Uh-oh, people can't hear me. Oh, you can hear me. Okay. Great. Thank you, everybody, for letting me know. I promise we'll get back into the practice. So if you can't hear me, try refreshing the page. Thank you, dear friends, for that confirmation. And then let's go ahead and find our comfortable seat. And we'll come back to those cleansing breaths. So take a deep, slow breath in through the nose. And exhale, open the mouth. Sigh it out, let it go. A deep, slow breath in through the nose. Exhale, open the mouth. Sigh it out, let it go. And one final time here, full breath in and out. orienting yourself in space and time, the space being here and the time being now. And so for this next 60 minutes, you have nowhere else to be but on your mat, in your own space. And just bring your gentle awareness to your breath, becoming familiar with the rise of the inhale and the fall of the exhale. Observing where you feel the breath start in the body, how the breath moves in the body, and any other qualities that are coming up with the breath. And then from here, start to draw your focus, draw your breath energy to your heart space, your fourth chakra. And that's at the center of the chest where the ribs meet together. And so as we breathe in, let's breathe into the heart space, filling up that whole spot. And then pausing, as you can't take in any more breath, pausing without struggle. And then on the exhale, feel the breath travel from the heart chakra all the way up through the crown of the head and out of the body. And so as we breathe in, we're going to breathe into that heart space, starting to open up that energy, feel that energy at the center with a pause. And then as we exhale, moving that energy from the heart center all the way up through the crown of the head. And we're going to stay with this breath for the next 2 to 3 minutes. And so with every pause, feeling the strength of that heart energy grow. And with every exhale, really feeling that energy traveling from the heart all the way up, expanding out. You might begin to come into a more of an ujjayi breath, feeling that those throat muscles draw the breath in and out. It's almost a ha sound at the back of the throat. And with each breath, try and find a steadiness and an evenness between the inhale and the exhale. Making that pause a place for rest and a place for ease. Take 2 to 3 more full rounds of that breath here. Being slow and steady and deliberate. And then from here, let's take a very deep inhale into our heart space, breathing in. And then finding a strong pause at the top of the inhale. Seeing if we can release the shoulders down the back. And again, feeling all of that energy grow in our heart space. And then as you exhale out, really push that energy from the heart space all the way up to the crown of the head. And then we're going to bring the entirety of our breath back to our heart space. Just sitting with it here in the moment. Noticing how we feel. Letting the breath return to its natural rhythm. then from here, to move that energy from the heart to the entirety of the body, start to feel the energy begin at the root of the spine and travel all the way up to the crown of the head as you inhale. And then as you exhale, feel the breath travel from the crown of the head back down to the base of the spine, the root. So as you inhale, feeling the energy of the breath rise up like a thermometer. And as you exhale, feeling it fall. As you're ready, very gently start to slowly open the eyes and take in the space around you. And so for our first shape, working into our heart space, we're going to take camel pose. And in this particular camel pose, we're gonna hold it for a minute. So in our yang practices, we're like, 5 or so breaths. We're gonna hold this for a minute. So there's a couple of ways to take it. You may even consider supporting the knees by, depending on how tall your pillow is, you might place a blanket with a pillow underneath your knees just to give it that support. So you want to make sure that the knees are going to be hips width distance apart. And since we're going to be holding this for a minute, we want to make sure that we're taking the load off the spine. Since we haven't really warmed it up, we haven't really stretched it, and it may not be super flexible at this moment. So I recommend bringing your hands behind you. And then from here, as you inhale, lifting the hips up. And if it feels okay, drawing the head back. It's the support of the hands that's going to take the pressure off and distribute the weight of the body evenly. So I'm starting my timer here for 1 minute. If a more traditional camel is in your practice, please feel free to take that. But for tonight, I'm going to stick with this other variation. So not only are we working into our heart space, we're starting to open up the front side of the shoulders and the front side of the legs. So really the entire front side of the body. And find your breath. Now, if this is really uncomfortable emotionally, just be mindful of what's going on in your life. And this could be too exposing for the heart. And if that's the case, just feel free to come out of it. And let's all take a deep, slow breath in, and a deep, slow breath out. And gently, slowly begin to just lift yourself up. Go ahead and remove any props off to the side. And let's just sit here on our shins if that feels okay, or come into a comfortable seat and let that energy that we have begun to move around in the body recenter itself, reintegrate. And notice how you feel. Whenever we're noticing how we feel, check in from a place of openness and inquiry too. So we might not have all the answers right now, but it might be something we want to explore a little bit later on. And from here, we're going to come into heart melting pose. And in our yang practice, we would call this puppy pose. This shape is going to help us, again, get into that heart meridian, work into the shoulders. And we want to make sure, as we're really getting into some deeper yin shapes, that we're only going to about a 70%. We're using this as a practice. It is a practice of discomfort and not a practice of pain. So we want to be very mindful about those two distinctions. With this, we'll start in a tabletop shape, stacking the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees. Now, I like to sometimes have like my pillow or my blanket here so I can place underneath my shoulders. But from here, we're going to keep our hips lifted over the knees, and we're going to walk ourselves forward, allowing the heart to melt. Now, if there's some distance between the heart and the ground, that's okay. We can create new ground with our blanket or our pillow or some combo of that. And so you can place that underneath the chest, underneath the arms, wherever feels good here. And we're going to be in this shape for 3 minutes. And I'm setting my timer now. And so just as I mentioned, we're working into our heart meridian tonight, starting to open that up. And the heart meridian, it has a couple of different things. So it runs along the front side of the body, pinky to pinky through the armpits. It also runs from the center of the heart up along the throat to our third eye center, and then also from the heart to the diaphragm to the small intestines. This is where our heart meridian is at. So find a place to be settled in here, and it's okay if there's some moving, some wiggling at some point. That's totally natural and totally normal. But see if you can find that place of stillness, really letting go and allowing gravity to do the work, gravity and time. And just find a soft breath. And maybe you breathe into the heart space and either out through the heart space or the crown of the head. So I'm going to be silent for the next little bit, giving you a 30-second warning, allowing you to go deeper if the body invites you. We have about 30 seconds left here. Continue to breathe deeply and breathe slowly. Let's all take a deep, slow breath in and a deep, slow breath out. From here, we're going to slide onto our belly, coming into a puddle pose. So a puddle is pretty much what it sounds like. It's where the opportunity for us to be like a big puddle. Let everything just kind of droop into the earth. And again, this is an opportunity for us to check back in with ourselves. Notice what's happening after you come out of the shape, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. Are you able to let the energy and the breath resonate in our heart space, letting that be the governing body of our thoughts this evening? And wherever you're at, take a full, slow breath in and out. So the next shape we're going to take is going to be mantis pose. And I do recommend doing this shape along the long edge of your mat, so your knees are on the mat. I've got hardwood here at home, so you might actually have carpet, and that, might not be a thing. You can always take your blanket too and unfold it just to give yourself a little extra support. And so mantis is also known as child's pose. And this is just a really, I think, lovely shape to help us start to warm up the hips and really connect with our breath. So from here, you can bring your knees as wide as the mat or as wide as they would like to go, big toes to touch. I'll do this from the side. And then you'll bring your arms out long. Just let the chest, again, rest on the ground, using any props you need to create that new space to bring the ground closer to you. If you find that there's a gap between the hips and the feet, that's not a problem. We can close that gap again by using a prop here. You can stay with the arms extended out long, or if you'd like, you can come into praying mantis by bringing your hands to a prayer position and then drawing the hands behind the head. Blocks might come in handy here too, where you can place one block on either side of the elbows, letting your head rest in that space. And so we're going to be in mantis or praying mantis, your choice, for 4 minutes. And really, through the majority of this 4 minutes, I am going to be silent, allowing you to be with your breath. And at any point during this, as the thoughts try and take over, say thank you, not right now, and just move them gently off to the side. And you can always revisit that thought after the practice, or not. Maybe, it wasn't important. I don't know. But so we've got about 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, and I'll give you a 30-second warning here, friends. About 30 seconds left here. Breathe deeply, breathe slowly. Wherever you're at, take a full breath in and a full breath out. So we're going to stack the next shape on top of mantis pose, and we're going to come into frog pose. And there's several variations for frog pose. One of the first and foremost things with this shape is being safe, particularly in the knees. So if you get into this and the knees don't feel good, hang on for a second, because I have another variation that we can do on our back that'll be a little bit gentler on the knees and still have a lot of the same effect as this shape. So any variations that we're going to offer, it just helps us meet ourselves as we are and where we're at in that evening. So one is not better than the other. They're all really strong places to be if we stay to the true intent of the shape. So the first variation is more of a tadpole variation. Starting here, you're just going to lift the hips up toward the knees. Very similar to what we just did. And the feet still may be at the bottom. So that's option one. It's not as deep as intense because our hips are not super lifted in the air. They're just in line with the knees. Second option is you'll just widen out the feet a little bit more, keeping those big toes to touch and letting the rest of the body lay on the ground. Again, if you feel any spaces between yourself and the ground, maybe you place a blanket or a pillow or something underneath that. And then for a deeper variation, you'll extend out the legs a little bit more to 90-ish degrees. Inside of the foot will be on the ground. So again, make sure you've got support underneath the knees. If you're feeling it in the bone or in the joint, grab some towels or another t-shirt or anything like that to prop up the knees. You can always prop up the chest. If you're like laughing at yourselves at home and you're like, hey Jay, you're funny, not a problem. I can be less funny, and we can take this shape on our back by taking a happy baby, which in a way is just a reclined frog pose. So you lift up the knees, either reach for the outsides of the feet, the insides of the feet. You can bring your hands behind the knees, behind the calves. I personally like to bring my hands behind the knees and let my elbows rest on the ground. So my hands are holding up the legs. And we're going to be here for 4 minutes. I know it sounds like a lot, and that's where our breath is going to come in. I tell you those times so you don't think, oh my gosh, I'm holding this forever, even though 4 minutes might feel like forever. We want to just know where that's at. So on this shape in particular, I will be joining you again, but I will give you the 30-second warning. And continue to breathe here. So this is also helping us target the liver meridian, and along with several other meridians, and the heart and the liver meridian are partners. Each organ has a partner, somebody to balance them out, and that's what the liver organ is for this particular space. We're about halfway through. If you happen to have one cheek on the pillow, consider switching which one is on the pillow or the ground, just so you can even it out. You have about 30 seconds left here. Breathe deeply and breathe slowly. And let's all take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. We're going to very slowly start to push ourselves up. Moans and groans are perfectly acceptable. Oh, excuse me. As we all come out of these shapes, it may have opened up some things. Maybe you take a few hip circles here, however you need, and then find your way onto your back or onto your belly for puddle pose. So whatever variation of puddle calls to you, let yourself melt into the earth. And again, become a big puddle. We don't have to hold ourselves upright right now. We don't need to support ourselves. We can let the ground do that. And as you're in this puddle, really check in with the energies in the body. Notice if something might have been blocked and something has been released. Do you feel more open in areas? Are you noticing something else that might be tight physically? Things like that. It's unique to every person. Yeah, so I'm going to let you be in puddle. And then as you're ready, let's all take a full breath in and a full breath out. From here, make your way onto your back if you're not already there. The next shape we're going to come into is banana pose, banana asana. So this shape is going to help us get into the side of the body, working into the fascial line that runs along the IT band, through the intercostal muscles of the rib cage, and even up through the armpits. As you remember, the heart meridian comes through the armpit and through the pinky. So from the back, and there are two variations we can take here, just depending where you are. You want to keep the shoulders and the hips on the ground. Take everything nice and long. I'm trying to scoot just a little bit so you can see me. And from here, take the arms and just reach them over to the left. Okay? They don't leave the ground. You're not going to roll onto the side. And then you're going to do the same thing with the legs. You're going to scooch the legs over to the right, creating almost a C curve in the body, a banana shape, if you will. If you find that the shoulders are lifting off the mat, that's where the props can come in real handy. Again, bringing the ground closer to you. So maybe you place it underneath the shoulder. Maybe you place a book or a block underneath the hands. There's no real good way for me to do this in the current space I'm in and completely show you. Maybe you cross one ankle over the other. I sometimes find for me that actually puts a lot of pressure on my knees and too much stretch. So if you're feeling that in your body, maybe just don't cross the legs right now. That could be your body telling you something that is just tight in other areas. So we'll be here. If that is uncomfortable for you, you can take this variation actually on your side, but you're going to want to prop yourself up a bit. So really take your pillow and either double it over and stack it on top of your bolster. From here, what you'll do is you'll just place it at the hip, and you'll lean the arms and the legs long as you lean over the side. And this is particularly good in case anybody out in our viewing audience is pregnant. You don't want to necessarily be on your back. You might want to be on your side. So feel free to take that variation as well. Okay? So we're here for 4 minutes on each side, friends. And I'll give us a 30-second warning. about 30 seconds left here. Continue to breathe deeply and slowly. And wherever you're at, take a full breath in and a full breath out. Gently start to come back through center and just release the arms down by the sides here for a moment. Take as much real estate on your mat as you'd like, just for a baby puddle pose, mini puddle if you will. And just to let every bit of energy that we released, what we opened, reintegrate into the body. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and reach the arms and legs long once again. We're going to lean everything over to the opposite side this time. So working into the other side body, the left side body, excuse me. Feel free to cross the ankles, outer to inner, inner to outer. Whatever you did on that respect on the other side, do on this side as well. Again, propping up your shoulders, your arms as needed. And sometimes the stretch that we're working toward may not feel really, really intense. And that's okay, because there are still things happening. We want to make sure we are avoiding pain and just checking back in with the sensations in our body. So if the sensation becomes too intense and it's going past that 70%, back out of it a bit. Or if you want some more intensity, maybe you just adjust the angle of your body. Start to explore what that means for you in your shape. Again, I'm going to let you be, and I'll give you the 30-second warning. About 30 seconds left here. Breathe deeply, breathe slowly. And as you're ready, take a full breath in and a full breath out. Come back through center, release the arms down by the sides. And just pause here, drawing the senses inward, drawing your focus inward. Letting yourself hear and see what you're feeling inside. And as you're ready, draw your knees into your chest. Maybe you take a few circles on the ceiling with the knees, massaging out the low back. And then drop the knees over to the left, gaze to the right, closing with a gentle supine twist to reset the spine, reset the nervous system. Feel free to place a block underneath the knees. Take up as much space as you want with your arms. Spread eagle a little bit. And just sink in here. And then as you're ready, draw the knees back through center. Maybe you take a few more circles on the ceiling with the knees. And then as you are ready, let's go ahead and drop the knees over to the right and gaze to the left. Finding that gentle supine twist on the other side, completing that cycle. And as you're ready, draw your knees back through center. Squeeze your forehead to your knees. Tense everything up. Create the teeniest, tiniest little ball. And then let it go. Savasana, final resting pose. Take up as much real estate on your mat as you'd like. Feel free to use your props to help you become a little bit more comfortable in this shape. Maybe you place your pillow, your bolster underneath your knees or behind the head. Maybe you choose to take this on the belly or on the side. Whatever calls to you here, whatever you need. As you start to let go, let everything sink into the mat. And working from the toes up to the head, turn off each and every muscle in the body. Letting the muscle melt away from the bone. Allow the jaw to release from its hinges. Let the roof of the mouth rise. And begin to awaken the body, first by taking a deep breath in and out, and then start to invite some gentle movement back into your body by wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe you take a full body stretch, or you roll onto your sides on your way to finding a comfortable seat at the top of the mat. No rush to get there. Finding that comfortable seat again, whether you're sitting on something or not. And if it doesn't feel good to have the legs crisscross applesauce, they can bring out nice and long. You can bend them, whatever calls to you. And we're going to close out with another heart meditation, this time a flowing heart meditation. And I should mention that this meditation and the opening meditation were both taught to me by one of my teachers, Chelsea Jackson. So I just wanted to make sure that I gave credit where credit was due. As we're here, close the eyes or find a soft point for your gaze. And then bring the right hand to rest on your heart space. And bring the left hand to rest on the right. Being here in this moment, noticing the breath, noticing the heartbeat. As we breathe in and out, directing that breath energy to our heart chakra, just as we did at the very beginning. We'll breathe into our heart space, and we'll breathe out our heart space. And on your next inhale, open up the left hand, palm faces toward the center. And then as you exhale, bring the left hand back, right arm will reach out toward the center, or toward the side. Inhale, switch it up, left. Exhale to the right. Alternating the hands on the breath, so inhale for left, exhale for right. As you inhale, inhale something good, something positive that you need. And then as you exhale, send the same back out into the world. As you inhale, bring that positive energy to your heart space. And as you exhale, send that same positive energy out. So finding the flow with your breath and your movement. Slow and gentle. Finding the balance between giving and receiving. Bringing us back to a universal heart and to living in the heart. Maybe a little less out of the head. Continue to breathe into the heart space and breathe out the heart space. Wherever you're at, take 2 to 3 more full rounds. Letting the energy move effortlessly throughout the body. Breathing with ease. And after you complete this last full cycle that you're on, just bring your hands once again to rest at the heart space. Feeling your heartbeat. Noticing the energy in the body. Thank you all so much for letting me serve you this evening. Be grateful for yourselves for making time for your mat. And let's take a moment to silently thank our virtual community for joining us in this space. Let's draw our hands to our heart space. We bow our heads and share a word. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me this evening. Again, my name's KJ. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. If you need more Earth Treks tonight, stick around at 8 o'clock. Rockstar Fitness instructor Katie will be leading everybody through core burn, something that's going to be awesome. So make sure you check it out. That's all I have tonight, everybody. I'll hopefully see you all in person so soon. Bye.